Friday Eve.
Yes.
So this morning I'm going to be kind of talking a little bit about something that I would be very surprised if anybody said that they have not had an issue with before, and that is local posts and encouraging your clients to go ahead and post on their own. I know that this is one of the biggest things that we get feedback, not necessarily feedback, but I guess pushback on. The majority of times, you'll always say in your review calls, hey, we always recommend posting on your own, but people are always coming back with things, and this is things everybody has heard. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I'm a plumber, I'm not a writer. Oh, isn't this something that you're already doing for us? So it's important to take that recommendation and tailor it to the client. Giving them recommendations on, things to write about, kind of making them feel more comfortable. And then giving them recommendations based on that. And then not only that, but also giving them the benefits of posting on their own. And these are benefits not just as, basic as, oh, it's going to help your presence, but also it's going to help you make more money because people are going to see you better out there online. So it's also cool to remember that customers who post 2 times per month are going to be found 2 times as often online. So the more that they're posting, and this is obviously something that we reiterate all the time, the more you're posting, the more content you're putting out, the more you're going to be seen. Content is king. We throw around that phrase a lot, but it is important to remember just how important that is. So not only is it important to be pushing out content, but it's also important that we make sure that content is engaging. There's a couple of ways to do that. So when you're, talking to your customers saying, hey, we really do encourage you to be putting things out, also to be encouraging them to be putting out specific things. What makes your business unique? What services might you offer that maybe people might not know about? Thinking about specific time frames. It's winter time, so what services might people be looking for specifically? And then also how-to articles too. I get a little bit of feedback sometimes. People say, well, I don't want how-to articles because that's, pushing people to do things on their own. But I think it's important to remember that if you're putting out things like that, then you're going to be considered an industry leader. People are going to view you as an expert on their industry and then take them more seriously. So ways to make local posts engaging, it's important to remember, obviously, big, bright pictures, engaging pictures that draw people's attention. Another thing that I find important is headlines. I use a tool that kind of analyzes titles and headlines of articles based on emotional value and ways that people connect to that. So I think it's important to, you can put out as much content as you want, but if people aren't clicking or people aren't engaged or interested, then it's not going to be nearly as effective. Also, another thing that I think is a little bit underutilized is videos. Videos are much more engaging than pictures a lot of times. People are, I hate to say it, but people are lazy a lot of times and they don't want to go read an article. So oftentimes if you do a video or a video accompanying an article, oftentimes that's going to help that engagement too. I think it's also important to speak like you're speaking to a friend rather than being very cold and kind of inside, but speak like you're actually talking to a friend and saying, hey, this is what we do, but also maintaining that level of professionalism as well. And then the final thing is don't sell. I mean, you're trying to make yourself an industry leader, making sure that your client knows that this isn't an opportunity to necessarily sell yourself or, make a sale, but just make yourself be more available and be able to be found more online. Any questions? Anything that anybody else has? I know I probably missed a couple of things, so anybody else have any suggestions or recommendations that they do?
I get some people who are lawyers or doctors who have previously had to write their own information out, but sometimes they put it in a magazine or they put it in print, and I explain to them that if they translate that into digital, it wouldn't be duplicate, so that they should take the opportunity to do that and post it out if it's still relevant.
It's a really good point. I think that a lot of people don't realize that maybe they have put out content before and they just aren't thinking about it. So I think another thing going off of that is, if they do have prior writing or Maybe they're a little bit nervous about it, because I know I get that a lot. Well, I'm not a writer. I don't know exactly what to do. I think it's always important to make sure that we are letting them know that not only am I your account coordinator, but also this is something I specifically do. I say, if you do ever want to write up an article or a post and you want to send it to me and get my opinion, I'd be more than happy to look over it for you. I think that gives them a little bit more of a sense of ease and comfort, to know that, anything that they write isn't just going to be pushed out. We are here for them to give them suggestions and feedback too, and more than just their programs. Specifically, I'm not just here to give them stats, like I'm here to help them in all facets. So, anybody else?
I think another thing is a lot of them that have vendors don't realize their vendors provide them free marketing material that they're authorized to use.
Mm-hmm.
So I always ask that. Do you get anything from your vendors? Like I have a tire place that just sent me 2 that they put in BSBF Goodwrench and Michelin tires. Both are running promotions before Christmas. They get that. It's free. They're allowed to reuse it. They're allowed to publish it out. So I always ask them about that too, because a lot of people don't realize that can be used in the dashboard.
Anybody else?
What tool did you use?
I can't remember exactly what it's called. I have it bookmarked. Basically, what it does is you copy and paste in like the title, and it will read like the words that are in there, and it'll actually give it like it's like an emotional value tool of some kind, and it breaks down like per word based on, okay, so this is more empathetic, or this is more intellectual, or something like that. So it kind of takes into account those words and like who it might appeal to specifically. So
could you send that out?
Yeah, that's
sure. Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. It was different. It was neat. Anybody else? I like questions. No? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to our featured AC, Cassie.
Okay. Well, what client experience means to me is going above and beyond like what they ask of you and what their expectations are. So providing sincere recommendations, whether that means extra work for you or not, and going and developing a strong and trusting relationship with that client. So one example that I have is someone who has a website not with us, but she got an email from someone else like, hey, you don't have H1 tags, you don't have meta descriptions, all this stuff, and she sent that over to me. And so then one of our calls, like we specifically just went over all that stuff even though they don't have a website with us. So developing that strong relationship with the client, and also like going along with the local posts. Like, so I have a client who writes local posts on their website but didn't even realize it. So they write about like, oh, we did this on this bus tour, we did this on this. So that's great to bring out to social media, not just on their website. So I try to like bring out those local posts, like bring out the things that they don't necessarily think that they're doing. So that's what that means to me.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything to add to that? No. Okay. All right. So today's challenge, Cassie and the challenge AC must submit their best call where they explain the importance of writing more local posts and how to make them engaging.
That's myself.
You win.
You win.
Easy.
Flashlight for that.
Lori. Sorry, I tried to be myself.
Awesome. Well, have a wonderful day. It's almost Friday.
Yeah.